beginning there was Jack, and Jack had a groove, and from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. And while one day viciously throwing down on his box, Jack boldly declared, "Let there be house," and house music was born.
I never thought that my songs were going to start anything. It was just stuff I was just writing at home that I wanted to listen to.
From the underground clubs of Chicago, house has grown into the biggest musical phenomenon since rock and roll.
If somebody told me when I was younger that this music that we were making in our basement would be the shot heard round the world, I would say, give me some of what you smoking, pal. Because it's just unbelievable.
15 years later, and house dominates pop music. From Madonna to U2, no one has escaped its restless beat.
I think the house is a feeling, and I think that if you don't feel it, it can't be house.
It's a feeling that's turned DJs into superstars.
It's not just about playing the latest bunch of tunes. Never has been.
And it's made nightclubs into global brands.
I certainly know that when a DJ gets out there and performs fantastically and does a brilliant job and there's a wicked crowd, you really can't beat it.
You know the score, not just a type of music. It's a way of life.
It's just a feeling in the clubs that you get from these drive-in tracks, these great tracks, great songs.
And I just see all of these people enjoying this music that they don't really understand why it was even created. You know what I'm saying? They don't even understand the basis of what house was trying to do from the get. It ain't about popping it. It isn't.
This is the story of the people who made house, the soundtrack to our lives.
Anything that starts off underground is house to me. I don't care how big it gets. If it started out underground, then and it had that big club feel, then that's house.
We stole everybody's music. I mean, that's how we created our sound.
The way the Chicago guys did it, they just took like disco grooves and rehooked them up, you know what I mean?
From the very beginning, it was the gay and black people that really kept dance music alive. Disco, dance music, it was really danceable R&B music that we were dancing to. And it wasn't until Saturday Night Fever came along that it exploded, and every goomba in the suburbs start dancing.
If I can't have you,
At the end of 1977, Travolta showed everyone how to do the hustle. Disco came out of the underground. As the whole world caught Saturday Night Fever, Mel Cheren's partner, Michael Brody, had a vision of a new kind of nightclub.
Michael and I said, if people can dance together, they can live together. And that's why it was so important to bring all kinds of people, black, white, straight, and gay, together with music. And one day, Michael called me and said, Mel, I found the guy that's going to make it happen for me. And he was talking about Larry Levan.
This is 84 King Street, Paradise Garage. Larry was the talent. Larry was the music. Larry was the imagination. Larry was the spunk. Not to just, polish up Larry, but the truth of it is the truth. Larry was everything.
Opened in January 1978, the Paradise Garage had the biggest dance floor and the best sound system in New York. But it was resident DJ Larry Levan who made the garage legendary.
Sometimes you get a thing from me, and you want my company. Yes, you do, baby.
He played music sometimes that was so intensive, music that made you get down, made your body go down.
He'd say, see that crowd over there? Watch what happens when I put this record on.
It was like Snake Charmer. He made you go like this, he made you go like that.
He wasn't great at mixing. He could if he wanted to. That wasn't his thing. He knew how to play a song.
He wouldn't just play one sound or one style. Dropping disco, various different rhythms.
That whole night you went in, you just came back singing songs, and you went home just thinking about what happened last night.
Such an exciting time and place. New York was the heart, and that's what attracted me to New York. I had to go because I was so into the music.
You gotta push it to me, baby. Push it to me, baby. You gotta start it to me, honey. Girl, if you want my money, if you want my money, you gotta make it good as honey.
It's technically a genius. The actual bass speakers were named after Larry. They were called the Van Horn.
You know, he controlled everybody. That was his job.
He would shut the music and go down, get a ladder, and clean the mirror ball if he didn't think it was clean enough.
And out of nowhere, boom! Blast the music. Everybody, oh!
Come on, you can get it anytime. Tonight is fine. I got my mind on you. Come on, you can get it anytime. Tonight is fine.
First time I went, I was 17 years old. And I was like, my God, never seen a place like this before.
When you first went into it, it was like entering Dante's Inferno.
They spiked the punch, okay, and they would tell you that they were going to spike it that particular night. So that meant the whole crowd was just all on acid. You know, and next thing you know, you're just like so spacey, and somebody handing you a popper, and you're doing the popper, you know, and everybody high on Quaaludes. All the deepest corners of the club, all right, you have people engaging in sex, you know?
I could never figure out how people could stay up that long, because I was kind of quite young then. I wasn't aware that they were doing drugs. So me and my friend, we used to just stay up all night, and, you know, come 7, 8 in the morning, we were literally exhausted, but then we brought out the coffee and we were on the coffee, and I always used to fall asleep on the subway going home and end up stuck in the Bronx.
A tastemaker of resolute individuality, Larry was an inspiration to a generation of DJs.
Larry could create a house party atmosphere with 2,000 people.
It really got me into the whole club and DJ kind of thing.
Paradise Garage set trends. Paradise Garage was one of the first of its kind, and 20 years later people are still talking about the influence Paradise Garage had on music in the culture.
Disco sucks! Disco sucks!
But only 18 months after Saturday Night Fever, dance music was facing a massive backlash in America.
Disco sucks! Disco sucks! Disco sucks!
Yeah! Steve Dahl was blowing up disco records out at Comiskey Park, and getting all these rock and roll heads to join in, and there was a huge backlash on disco music.
This is now officially the world's largest anti-disco rally.
In 1979, DJ Steve Dahl led an anti-disco campaign that struck a chord throughout suburban America.
It was more about blowing up all this nigger music and, destroying disco. Strangely enough, I was an usher, working his way towards his first synthesizer at the time. What I noticed at